windows open in the whole room. Change temperature, the perfume of the morning air arriving. Without effort, the reviving particular freshness of the outside, coming in to coincide with everything indoors. Clean air, oh clean air, that's the whole feeling of the morning, the unconcealing of the lungs, the easy breath that isn't fighting with anything beneath the surface. Clean air moving through the room and through the body too. Clean air, the simplest gift. I stood at the window for the simple pleasure of the temple of fresh air arriving, not dramatic, just the automatic exchange of stale for new, the particular breakthrough of the morning doing what mornings do. Oh, clean air, that's the whole feeling of the lungs finally dealing in the currency of the fresh instead of the held breath. By the time I'd finished the coffee, the whole apartment had the toffee colored light and the clean air, completely the in-between of stale and fresh, resolved entirely. Oh, clean air, the whole morning, arriving without warning, through the window, through the day. Clean air, clearing away everything that needed clearing. Of your own breath for the first time today. Clean air, that's the whole display of the morning doing its quiet work. Clean air, nothing held, nothing merged, just the simple in and out of breathing. Finally, without any effort, clean air. Confident enough to enter for just open window. Let it in, sit back. Open window, still open. The first splash is always the surprise, even when you know it. The eyes widen the same way, the whole face receiving the particular grace of cold water at 6:15. And the surprise is the point. Cold water doesn't let you stay half asleep. The second splash confirms the first. Not a shock anymore, the burst of clarity arriving as expected, but no less perfected for the expecting. And the expected clarity is still completely clarifying. By the third splash, the whole system has switched. Cold water, the rhythm of the morning's first decisive act. Awake, alert, intact, and ready. Cold water. Cold water, the simplest tool for the clearest possible head. The towel afterward is its own small pleasure, the known comfort after the brisk cold water's risk. Paid off completely, the whole face alive, the whole space behind the eyes clear and bright, ready for whatever light the day brings next. And ready is the whole gift. Cold water gives for free every morning. Cold water, cold water, cold water. That's the simplest reset button, the cleanest possible morning move. Cold water finds the groove between the asleep and the alive, and cold water makes you arrive there immediately. No transition, just the clean decision of the body waking up at once. Cold water, nothing else does this particular job as well. Cold water, the easy spell of being completely suddenly here. Cold water, wide awake. Cold water, right here. Oh, salt air, that's the smell that says the morning's near the water. The days that start with this particular freshness carry their own kind of evidence that something clean is happening. Salt air, the whole opening of the lungs to something larger than the room. Salt air arrives before the view does. The particular clues first delivered to the nose, the way the ocean announces the day before you've even seen it. Salt and something mineral, the default freshness of air that's traveled over water. And traveled over water means nothing stale survived the crossing. By the boardwalk the salt air thickened, not heavy, just quickened into something you could almost taste. The coast doing what coasts do at 7, the particular heaven of air that's been nowhere but ocean. And nowhere but ocean is the cleanest possible origin story for air. The salt air had gotten into everything. My hair, my jacket, the particular freshness that clings without heaviness. Oh, salt air, the whole morning carries it now, the adorning of everything with the clean, specific and unseen freshness of the ocean's breath. Salt air, nothing beneath the surface of this feeling needs explaining. Salt air, the whole day gaining something it didn't have before. Salt air, that's what mornings are for when you live close enough to find them. Salt air, still here. Salt air, like waves. Mint, that small cool shock that arrives and seems to unlock something at the back of the throat, the particular cool note that isn't cold, exactly, sharper, brighter, a clean harbor playing one clear string. Mint does something nothing else does, not refreshing in the way that buzz words mean it, but actually the air you breathe after feels like air that's been improved, somehow sharpened at the edges, the darkened morning taste replaced entirely, and entirely is the right word. Mint doesn't share the space with anything else. The cool mint isn't temperature, it's something else. The literature of the senses doesn't quite have the word for it. The half cold, half clean, half sharp sensation that arrives without preparation and changes the whole morning's flavor. And the changed flavor of the morning is mint's whole quiet contribution. Not gone, just quieter, the cool clarity a little brighter than ordinary breathing. Mint, the small cool shock that keeps unlocking the clock of the morning ticking cleaner, because of one small opener. Mint, the simplest possible, refreshes the laudable, 2 seconds of cold bright clarity that changes the whole charity of how the morning tastes. Mint, nothing else replaces that particular cool. Mint, still cool. contrast the rare sensation of stepping from warm into cool, the whole form of the body adjusting at once to something completely different. Morning swim, the whole day starts differently this way. Submerged before anything else has had a chance. The self underwater for just a moment before surfacing the component of cool and quiet and weightless. Underwater, everything goes quiet, not silent, just a different quality of sound. The riot of the morning replaced by the indifferent hum of being somewhere else entirely for just a few seconds. Morning swim, reset something sincerely and without trying. Morning swim, the whole day starts differently this way. The cool, the quiet, the weightless few seconds underwater. The great reset of surfacing into air that feels warmer now. The rare gift of contrast. Morning swim. Morning swim. By the third lap, the cool had become familiar, not less, just become part of the morning's texture. Water and air trading places, the daughter of contrast doing its quiet work. Morning swim, the whole body different now. Somebody who started the day submerged in something cool, who emerged into air that feels like a gift. Morning swim, the quick lift of cool water doing what nothing else quite does. Morning swim, something resets every single time. Morning swim, the cleanest possible start. More morning swim, still too cool. Morning swim, waiting, still here. Oh, that sound, ice in the glass. Before the drink even arrives, the class of anticipation that only this particular clink can give. The bliss of knowing something cold is coming. The small percussion summing up everything good about the next minute. Ice in the glass is a kind of promise, not the drink itself, just the premise of cold, of refreshment, of the particular sound that means something spectacular. For your mouth is about to happen. The small clink, the cap and the pour. Ice in the glass, and the promise of ice in the glass is sometimes better than the drink itself. The first sip is cold because of the ice, but the ice itself is doing something nice. Beyond temperature, the sound that makes settling, the profound simplicity of frozen water, doing exactly what it oughta, making everything taste a little sharper. And a little sharper is all a hot afternoon really needs. The ice had melted just enough. The drink had welted into something slightly diluted, but somehow more suited to the moment than it was at first. Oh, that sound, ice in the glass, still doing its work. The glass of refreshment that doesn't announce bounce. It's off loudly, just the bounce of small cold things doing their job. Ice in the glass, the quiet throb of something simple done right. Ice in the glass, the small delight that makes a hot day bearable. Ice in the glass, completely shareable with anyone who's ever needed exactly this. Ice in the glass, still cold. Ice in the glass, settling, almost gone. Oh, shower power, turn the dial up, full pressure, full blast. The cup of the morning filled to the brim with water, doing everything to him or her or whoever's standing under it. Shower power, the funk of it, hitting every shoulder at full force. Shower power starts with the temperature, check the brief overture of too cold and too hot, then exactly right. And once it's right, exactly there, the whole morning changes. The water rearranges everything it touches into wake and awake at full pressure is the whole point of shower power. By the second minute, the steam had filled the whole room. The skill of hot water at full blast is turning the bathroom into a fast tropical climate. The funk of the horns and the dunk of the head under full pressure and full pressure on the shoulders is the best massage that's free. By the time the water turned off, the whole body had gone soft and awake at the same time. Shower power, the prime reset of the morning. Oh, shower power, full pressure, full heat, full funk, the complete reset of the body at full blast. Shower power, the contrast of cold, silent, hot water doing exactly what it ought to. Turn it up. Shower power, feel the cup of the morning with full pressure. whole body, saying yes before anybody could talk you out of it. The cool shock of the pool, doing what cold water always does. Pool jump, the buzz of being completely suddenly wet. Pool jump, nothing beats yet the first jump of the day. Pool jump, the brightest way to greet the morning. Pool jump, splash, bright pool jump, bouncing again. There's a setting beyond medium, the full tilt, the premium speed, where the blades become a blur, where the hum turns into something closer to wind. Fan on high, the kind, a breeze that nature doesn't usually offer indoors. Fan on high, the whole room moving, papers fluttering, the soothing roar of air at full speed. Fan on high, exactly what's needed when the air's gone still and heavy. Fan on high already, doing more than the windows could. Fan on high turns the whole apartment into something like a department of moving air, every surface catching some of the purpose of the blades at full rotation. Fan on high, the celebration of artificial wind doing its job. Fan on high, the whole room moving, curtains lifting, the soothing roar that makes the heat bearable. Fan on high, the shareable cool that one machine provides. Fan on high, nothing hides from the breeze at full speed. Fan on high, exactly what I need. By the third hour, the fan had become background, but the sum of its work was everywhere. Cooler air, a kind of care, taken care of automatically. Fan on high, the whole apartment cooler now. The department of artificial wind at full power. Fan on high, every hour a little easier because of the blades spinning at full speed. Fan on high, the trace made between electricity and comfort. Fan on high, that's the effort of staying cool, automated. Fan on high, completely, gratefully appreciated. simplest summer math. Heat plus cold equals the path of least resistance to feeling better immediately. Every letter of the word refreshing contained in one small frozen stain. Tongue treat that costs almost nothing, and almost nothing is the price of one of summer's best feelings. By the third bite the drips had started, the particular bright-hearted race against melting the sweet urgency of summer heat versus frozen sugar. Popsicle turns every porch into a spectacle of sticky fingers and bright colors. And sticky fingers are the proof that summer is doing its job. By the last bite the stick was bare. The particular flair of summer treats gone too fast always, but the last cold bite is somehow the best one. Oh, popsicle, the whole afternoon tastes a little better. The tune of summer playing through something so simple. Popsicle, the true bright spot of any hot day. Popsicle, there's no better way to cool down for 30 seconds. Popsicle, the sun reckons with one small frozen victory. Popsicle, completely happily melted, completely worth it. Popsicle, almost gone. Popsicle, worth it. Sprinkler running through the spray, again and again the way the water arcs and catches everyone. The same way the fun of getting wet on purpose. Sprinkler, the whole surface of the lawn turned into a game. Nobody plans the sprinkler run, it just happens. The sun gets too hot, the hose is already connected, and suddenly everyone's running through the arc of water, leaving a mark of wet footprints on the dry grass. And the wet footprints are the whole proof. Sprinkler, that something good just happened. Sprinkler running through the spray, laughing at the way the cold water hits different every single pass. The persistent joy of the same game played over and over. Sprinkler, the unafraid choice to get completely wet. By the fifth pass, everyone was soaked, not accidentally the cloaked. Intention from the start was always this: sprinkler days don't end until everyone's drenched completely. The parched heat of the day finally answered, and answered is the whole point. Sprinkler, full speed through it in a go. The contrast hits and the contrast between wet and dry is its own small celebration. The first thing is always the cold stand and drip in the bold decision to stay outside a moment longer. The wide grin of someone who just had fun. And had fun is written all over everyone climbing out of the water. The towel waits on the chair, the particular care of a dry towel after wet skin. Towel snap, the crisp begin of getting warm again. Towel snap, the brightest sound of summer afternoons. By the time you're wrapped up, the sun has already started the fun of drying you the rest of the way. Towel snap, the whole display of the afternoon settling into something warm and through satisfied. And satisfied is the whole feeling after a sun, after a towel. Towel snap, that's the whole transition from wet to dry. The recognition that the swim is over, but the good feeling isn't. Towel snap, the wood of the deck warm under bare feet. Towel snap, the complete satisfaction of a good swim done. Towel snap, drying in the sun. Towel snap, that's the whole afternoon settling into something better. Towel snap, snappy drums. Towel snap, done. Beach ball, nobody owns it for long. Passed around the song of a summer afternoon, written in the bouncing, the smitten joy of something that doesn't need rules to be fun. Beach ball, the tools of summer are sometimes just air and plastic. Beach ball up in the air again, caught by someone then hit back out. The rhythm of an afternoon with no system, except keep it up, keep it going. Beach ball, the whole knowing that nothing about this needs to be serious. Beach ball, somebody always misses eventually, and that's part of it too. The splash when it lands wrong, the dash to retrieve it, the laughing that comes from the gaffing of a game that was never about winning. Beach ball up in the air again, caught by someone then hit back out. The simple joy of a game so simple, it barely qualifies as one. Beach ball under the sun, the game's still going. Beach ball up in the air again. One more time, then maybe one more after that. Beach ball, that's the format of a perfect summer afternoon. Beach ball, the tune of laughter and bright plastic. Beach ball, nothing fantastic required, just this beach ball. Up again, beach ball, one more time. Sunscreen, the smell that means the day is about to begin. The scenes of summer always start with this particular part of the ritual. Sunscreen, the cool white cream, that's the whole rule of a good beach day done right. Sunscreen smells like every summer. At once the particular drummer beat of coconut and chemical, and something almost lyrical about the smell itself. It means towels and coolers and the scenes of an entire day outside. And outside is where sunscreen always leads eventually. The application is its own small ceremony. The call of did you get your back? The proof that summer days have their own roof of small rituals before the fun officially starts. Sunscreen, the sun already promising too much heat to skip it. And skipping it is the one mistake nobody makes twice. By the time everyone was covered, the day had properly uncovered itself, bright, hot, completely ready. Sunscreen that neatly solved problem before it started. Sunscreen, the smell that means the day is finally beginning. The scenes of summer unlocked by one small white application, done before anyone steps outside. Sunscreen, the wide open afternoon now possible. Sunscreen, the responsible start to any responsible amount of fun. Sunscreen, let's go. Sunscreen, let's go. Sunscreen, right, ready. Da, 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 da. Time in the Watermelon, the first bite is mostly cold, the temperature arriving before the taste does the ghostly chill of something that's been sitting in ice water all morning. And the cold arriving first is half the reason watermelon works. The second thing is the sweetness, not too much, just the right amount of summer, the particular completeness of a fruit that doesn't need to count calories or apologize for itself. And not apologizing is watermelon's whole personality. The third thing is the juice running down to your elbow, the loose and happy mess of eating something that was never meant for napkins, the bringing of sticky hands and bigger smiles. Watermelon, the only fruit that makes a mess feel like a feature. The fourth thing is the seeds that fire spit close, whatever it leads to. A small competition, nobody penned, a game that anybody can win just by laughing the hardest. And laughing the hardest is the real prize every single Watermelon, cold and sweet and messy, all at once, the dressy occasion replaced by paper plates and sticky hands. Watermelon, the states of summer afternoon condensed into one slice. Watermelon, the immense simple joy of something that's easy. Watermelon, nothing breezy beats it on a hot day. Watermelon, pass the next slice this way. Watermelon, cold and sweet. Watermelon, pass it here. Watermelon, cold and sweet. Watermelon, pass it here.